The key to getting comped fares on the world's biggest cruise lines is ADT, or is it ATT? So welcome to my channel. If it's your first time here, the channel is all about getting you aboard the world's biggest cruise lines without paying those expensive fares. I've been on nearly 30 comped cruises, and I've done it all by paying a fraction of what you would pay for those brochure prices. So we're talking like $1,000 per person. If you're sailing solo, upwards of $2,000 or $3,000. And the way I do it is spending some time in the cruise ship's casino. It's great because it's a fun time and you get all of these cruises for free. Now, there is a more expensive, more straightforward way to earn comps on most cruise lines. That's with instant certificates. You can still get a significant discount on fares this way, but like I said, it is more expensive. So let's take Royal Caribbean, for example. That's my most cruised on line, my favorite line. If you are playing slots at the casino, a fair assumption is it's going to cost you $1 of your money into the machine to earn 1 point. That's considering a return to player of 80% on average, which is a fair assumption. It's not too low and it's not too high. So what that means in simple terms is if you put $5 into the machine, you're going to earn 1 point. And you're going to generally get 4 of those dollars back. So using that calculation to get an instant certificate, it's going to cost you about $1,200. Now, when you consider cruising solo, it's going to cost you, upwards of $2,000 to sail. You are getting a good discount on that fare. So for me personally, I want to cruise about once a month. So for me, $1,200 for fare plus all of the other things you pay to get onto a cruise ship, that's too cost prohibitive. So I want to find a way to really minimize that. I would say of the 16 cruises I've gotten for free on Royal Caribbean, maybe 3 of them were through instant certificates, and I earned those instant certificates, generally speaking, because I did really good in the casino. The rest of them were marketing offers. So marketing offers are offers that come through either via email or snail mail. The marketing offers are simply based on whether the casino thinks they're going to make money off of you. How do they do this? Well, they use something called average daily theoretical, or ADT. What is ADT? Well, it's a calculation that the cruise casinos use to determine what they think you might lose if they offer you a comped cruise. So what is average daily theoretical comprised of? Okay, so it's basically 3 things. The first thing is house advantage. House advantage is basically what the casino thinks they're going to get from you when you place a bet. So for instance, if you're playing video poker, house advantage is really small because your return to player is in the high 90s. If you're playing a really high volatility slot machine, might have a return to player of like 82 or 85%. That's a better house advantage for the casino. The next item in the calculation is bet level. So the more you bet, the more advantageous it is for your ADT. And finally, time spent playing. This one, I believe, is the highest weighted part of the calculation because that's what I use in order to get all of these comps. I am a minimum bettor, so I'm getting less on that bet level. I generally try to play slot machines with higher return to player, so that's a lower house advantage. I do, however, spend 3 to 4 hours a day on average in the casino on a cruise ship. It's always worked for me across many cruise lines, including Royal Caribbean, Princess, and Carnival. So if you're thinking about what game to play, slot machines are far more desirable from the perspective of the casino, and I'll tell you why. Think about it this way. If you're betting $1 per spin on a slot machine, how many times are you going to spin? You're probably going to spin at least 10 times a slot machine per minute. So if you're betting $1, that means you put $10 into the machine per minute. If you're playing blackjack, for instance, you might make a bet of $25, but that hand might take 3 or more minutes to play. So you can see that you're betting more per minute when you're playing a slot machine as opposed to playing cards. Additionally, there are also concerns about getting your play rated when you're playing on a table, because that is dependent on, the dealer tracking what you're playing and being accurate. I've heard lots of stories from my friends where they said they played this much, they bet this much, and they only earned so many tier credits. Now, while we're not necessarily going for tier credits in this method, it does show that they may not be accurately tracking their advantage, and therefore your ADT may not accurately be represented. So I do recommend that you play slots during this method. Also, for me, I'm pretty risk averse. If you're playing blackjack and you have a bad run, let's say you lose 6 hands at $25, you've already lost a lot of money. You've lost $150. It would take a lot longer for me with return to player to lose $150 on a slot machine. There's actually a bit of a wrinkle here. This is something new for me. I don't know if you've heard about it or not, but I've heard that cruise lines actually use something called ATT. ATT is average trip theoretical. It uses the same calculations, it's the same idea as average daily theoretical, but they don't penalize you for playing less during a day. Let me explain that a bit further. So let's say they were using average daily theoretical and you were on a 5-day cruise. On 4 of those days, you played 4 hours in the casino each and every day. Really good for your ADT. However, on the last day, you did an excursion and you ended up only playing maybe 30 minutes in the casino. If they were rating you day by day, that one day where you only paid 30 minutes might negatively affect your overall average daily theoretical, and therefore it might impact your offers. Using a trip theoretical takes an average of all the day's plays and puts them together. So that one day would bring down each average day, but you would still have a fairly high rate of play. They do this because they know people do other stuff on cruise ships. They go to shows, they take in events, they go on excursions, they do all sorts of stuff. So they want to make sure they're still getting an accurate reading of what they may potentially get from you if they offer you a free cruise. So what's the key for me and why I'm getting all these offers consistently? Well, for me, I've always said it, it's playing minimum or low bet. I generally only bet 60 cents to $1 per spin. And I also look for games with higher return to player. I have videos on my channel that explain all of that. So definitely I'll link a couple in the description for you. So basically what that lets me do is that lets me keep my bankroll longer, which lets me play longer in the casino, which boosts my ADT or ATT. So how much for time spent in the casino? So generally what I've done is I've averaged anywhere from 3 to 4 hours per day in the casino on average on a trip. I don't know what the high or low water mark is for that because that's been consistently what I've done. So I'm not sure how much less you can play in order to still qualify for comped cruises. However, I may have intentionally done an experiment on Caribbean Princess. I was with friends, I was doing other things, the casino wasn't great, so I ended up only spending about 2.5 hours per day on that trip. I'm gonna monitor my offers on Princess. I've been getting really good offers for them, but I wanna see how that trip ends up impacting all of my further offers. As soon as I get my next batch of offers, or maybe I stop getting offers, I'll let you know so you can decide whether maybe you can move down the amount you play a little bit if you're not someone who really enjoys being in the casino. For me, I'm probably not going to change how much I play. I found the sweet spot. I play 3 to 4 hours a day, and that fits in really well with all the other stuff that I do, whether I'm working from ship, whether I'm taking in events, whether I'm going ashore. That's what I like to play. I really love playing slots. So for me, it's a win-win. I get my entertainment and I get all of these offers as well. So there you go. That's how ADT or ATT is the cheaper way to earn free fare on these comps. If you have any questions or comments, I love seeing them. Put them below. I get to all of them. I'm not an expert at this, by the way. This is just all I've learned as I've gone along, and I've done my research and I've talked to friends and obviously my experience with getting offers. And since my channel is all about saving you money while you're cruising, I recently used a eSIM for cruising called GigSky. I did that on Wonder, and it had a lot of great advantages. If you're not totally tied to internet, if you like to be on occasionally, you don't really need to be connected all the time, and if you like to have internet when you're in port, GigSky is an amazing option and way cheaper than cruise ship Wi-Fi. As a matter of fact, it can cost you 1 day worth of Wi-Fi. So instead of spending a couple $100 on Wi-Fi, you're gonna spend maybe $50 on internet. If you wanna check it out, I've got a link in the description, and I also have a code that you can use to get 10% off to check it out for yourself. You can pick a package for wherever you're cruising, in Europe, in the Caribbean, in Asia. They've got lots of different plans. Coming up next week, it's Margaritaville at Sea Islander. I'm going with my best friend Jesselyn, and we are ready to sing some Jimmy Buffett. I got that as a comp as well. I've got details on how you can do that on my channel as well. Of course, there's gonna be lots of videos about the casino experience, the overall vibe, and whether I get more offers from Margaritaville at Sea based off of my casino play. If you wanna check out all those videos and always know when they come out, please consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell so you know. And of course, if you liked the video, a like would be very much appreciated. Thank you so much for watching.